Guys, Leah with Pineapples and Penguins TV, here to talk to you about Peacocks, The Lost Symbol, Season 1, Episode 5, titled Melancholia 1. This refers to an engraving done in 1514 of the same name that depicts melancholy. Your 2-minute talk starts now. Okay, so Peter's awake. He and Malak have a couple conversations, one of which Malak has written a statement he needs to videotape Peter reading. They are going to send it to Robert because Robert needs some encouragement to get this riddle figured out. So Peter does that, but he does throw in some code in the hopes that Catherine will watch it. It's code that they used to talk in when she was a little girl. It works because Robert does take this to Catherine and shows it to her. She does pick up that there is code in there, and they're going to work it out and figure out the code. Sato shows up. Catherine trusts her, so they're going to work together. Catherine is working on the code, and Robert and Sato go to the National Museum to look at this 1514 engraving that's on display there, except it's not on display, it's on loan now. That's because the Leviathan group is trying to stop this whole thing. They do not want Robert figuring out the mystery. That's the whole point of their group, is to keep this under wraps. Sato has to fight a couple of the Leviathan group. She does fine, she can hold her own, and they get back to Peter's house. She says, we got to move this forward, we got to figure out what to do, and suggests that Robert make up something. Tell Malak he has figured it out, and when they meet up, they'll come in and take Malak out and get Peter back. So they meet up in a parking garage. The janitor, Malak's sidekick, is there, along with Peter and Robert. Only the CIA op does not go well. Sato's boss shows up with a bunch of other agents, and that spooks the janitor and Malak. Malak grabs Robert. The janitor grabs Peter. They jump in the car and they take off. So now Robert is also with Malak, as well as Peter. Catherine hopefully can decode the clues that were left in the video, but she's pretty beside herself. This is not how it was supposed to go. Meanwhile, Nunez is back at the janitor's ex-wife's house because he looked at the tox report from the research assistant that died, and she had been dosed with ketamine. Ketamine is not easy to come by. You have to be a pharmacist or a doctor, and he remembers that the janitor's ex-wife was a pharmacist. So he goes to her house, goes through the whole house, finds nothing, is about to leave when she sneaks up behind him and knocks him out. She has him tied up in the kitchen where she's getting ready to kill him, drug him. And she's talking about how she's a follower of Malak's. She's talking about all this crazy stuff about how she'll find clarity and how he helped them through the worst time of their life and how the pain meant something. All this stuff, this whole time she was working with them. So she gets ready to dose Nunez with these drugs that she has, except Nunez is able to slip out of the knots that she has tied him up in, and punches her, grabs a gun, and is able to stop her. Now he's trying to talk her down, except she's holding a knife, and she realizes she's not going to get out of this situation. So instead of go quietly into this good night, she starts stabbing herself in the stomach multiple times. And Nunez is shocked, which, I mean, I think anybody would be. But he also, right before she dies, she tells him that Peter is the instrument in the end game of all of this. Malak is never giving Peter back. So Nunez texts this to Sato, but it's too late because the CIA has already mucked up that operation, and Robert and Peter are gone. So at the end of the episode, we find Robert sitting in a room with the clues and a pad and pen, and Malak telling him, now you have no distractions, figure it out. And that's the end of the episode.